Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People Show. We check the pulse of Husker Nation, brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Today I'm joined by a special guest, Husker tight end and team captain, Mr. Austin Allen. How you doing, my friend?
Hey, good, Adam. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, I appreciate you joining me. So talk to me. Let's talk about the bye week. We'll go back to go forwards a little bit. So what was the bye week like for you guys? What was the coach's demeanor? How do you guys feel coming out of that bye week?
Yeah, we as a team, we feel really good. They took care of us physically. They asked us, we had 2 practices last week, and they asked us if we can give it our all. In those 2 practices, we gave it to them. It was a really detailed practice. It was a very competitive practice. It was kind of getting back to the fundamentals, the blocking, tackling circuits, stuff you don't really usually get to work on other than like fall camp. So it was good to kind of fall back on some training stuff, to refresh it. And it was a really competitive practice with a lot of one-on-ones, whether the outside receivers or inside linemen, and the whole team was watching. So it was really kind of simulating game atmosphere, and I think we needed that as a team.
So Frost mentioned that, I forget his exact words, but he may have gotten angry or a little angry with the team, or I don't know, I forget what his words were at one point last week during the practices. You don't have to divulge anything you don't want to, but what was that like and things of that nature?
Yeah, so he's putting a hard emphasis on every rep matters. So every time in a practice, if it's 3rd and 3 and we don't necessarily know the down and distance and we get 2 yards and somebody stops turning their feet, that's when he became really furious, because that's the play that matters. That's the play that turns a punt into a first down, you know?
Yeah.
That was the stuff that really irked him the wrong way last week, is not knowing situations and putting us in situations and not capitalizing and making a play. So I think that's what you're stemming from with the angry, so to say, but that's just him being an aggressive coach that week and making sure we know situations.
All right, so let's move into this week. You guys are getting ready to play Purdue. Coaches took care of you last week. You had a good and intense couple practices, a lot of one-on-ones, game-type situations, basics, fundamentals. Talk to me about this week now. How are you guys feeling? You got 4 games left playing Purdue. Then obviously you've got Wisconsin, another bye week. A little bit unusual there with the multiple bye weeks so close, but that could be beneficiary down the stretch against some of these better teams. But how do you guys feel heading into this week, heading into the Purdue football game?
Yeah, as a leader of this team, I feel really confident just because there's a lot of guys right now that are just eager to smash somebody's head. And that's I think that's evident from having a week off, not being able to hit anybody. It almost got to a point today, I was like, all right, somebody's going to get hurt at that point, which is a good thing to have on our team. But it's like almost one of those things, too, is like we need everybody for Saturday, so let's get the work we need to get done without blowing somebody's head off. But Purdue's a good football team. They got a D-line. They obviously, gave the work to Iowa. They were somebody we can't take lightly. But in the end, Purdue is a very beatable team. If we click on all cylinders, like we have versus say Northwestern or Michigan State, and not make the mistakes necessarily that kill us, I don't think we should have any problem with this team. But if we make those same mistakes, we're going to be in for a war this weekend. But Purdue's a good team, and I like the way we've been practicing this week.
Well, good. So talk to me. Obviously, you mentioned their D-line. Talk to me about the things that stick out about their defense specifically, aside from the D-line.
Yeah, they're athletic across the board. They play really a nickel the whole time, which is nice to do if you got the athletes to do it, kind of like we do with JoJo. He's a great athlete, but he's a nickel-sized body that can cover, that can fit the run. Purdue's kind of got a guy similar to that, but their D-line's athletic. They'll stun it a little bit. They'll throw some blitzes at you. That it's different every week, so we got to be prepared for that. But it's nothing we can't handle. It's nothing we haven't seen. So I'm excited to see what we do.
So you were voted a team captain, as most people know. What did that mean to you, being a homegrown Nebraska kid playing for the University of Nebraska? What did that mean to you to be voted a team captain earlier this year?
Yeah, it means a lot just because, at the time I considered myself a leader as this team, just in vocally and at practice and of my position group. It was cool to see the whole team see me as their leader, like the leader. So it was cool growing up. You always see the great names that are team captains and that lead this team. Lead the state really. It was an honor to see them vote my name in that regard. But the work as a leader doesn't stop there. It just doesn't. There's no cap on it from there. It's got to keep growing. I mean, there's a possibility to come back next year, but I don't know yet. But the work doesn't stop there, and but in all, it's just an honor that they voted me that captain.
So obviously there's been some good things that have happened this year, some things that need to be worked on, a bit of a up and down roller coaster, a lot of close games, a lot of highly rated teams that you guys have played. Sometimes you've been able to get the win, sometimes not. What's that challenge been like as a guy who's been voted a captain and looked at upon as a leader when it's a bit of a roller coaster and there are some frustrations? Even the head coach, he's getting a hard time from some people. What's that like as a leader on the team to try to keep the team together, lead the guys, and keep them focused in the right direction?
Yeah, it's tough to see as a player how much flack coach takes in the media because really he's putting us in good stuff, good situations. It's just us not executing. It's us punting the ball the wrong direction versus the team. It's us fumbling the ball. It's us putting the ball on the ground. It's a lot of things that we do as players that needs to be disciplined within the players, and then coach has to stand up in front of the media and take all the flack. And I think a lot of guys are starting to see the media. All these people talk about how what coach needs to do different, but in all reality, it's on us as leaders to fix what we need to fix on this team to get these wins. So it's frustrating as a leader that. We know what we need to fix, and we're trying to fix them. It's just not working. I mean, there's one or two plays in the game that's going to change the whole game, and it's who's going to make those plays, and it hasn't gone in our favor. But what can we do different as leaders to fix that? That's what I'm working with right now.
So that was actually going to be kind of leaning towards my next question. You guys have been so close. You've been right there. Obviously, you're working on trying to figure it out. How do you think you guys, because I've always said the first one is the hardest one to get. You get that first win, that first big signature win, and the dominoes, I'm not going to say they're all just going to fall, but the next one comes easier, and the third one comes easier than the second. How do you think you guys get over that hump, so to speak, and get that first big win, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think personally, it's not when stuff happens in a game, it's not everybody's mentality going to, oh crap, here's the same movie playing over again. When we get down 14 in the third quarter, it's got to be a mentality that this is our game. We're going to go win it, not we're going to come close again and fail. And I think changing that mindset in the game is where we can benefit as a football team and kind of change this tide. Because like you said it best, like once you win 1, 2, 3 games in a row, that's momentum. And once you got momentum behind your back, there's not a lot stopping you.
I like the honesty in that answer. I like that answer. So you've had a breakout year this year, done really well. I know Minnesota, that game didn't go the way the team wanted as a whole. Individually, you played very well. What do you think's been the key to you individually breaking out a little bit this season?
I think that's a attribute or contributes to Adrian just trusting to put the ball up and let us, with our 6'7", 6'8" frames, go make a play. Adrian's been playing at a high level this year. And he's starting to trust his guys a little more. They're starting to trust Adrian in the passing game a little more than the years past, I think. So it's been nice for us to just be able to make plays when the play's called. But yeah, it kind of sucks that you kind of have your breakout game, so to say, and a loss because it's kind of nullified. It feels like, but I've been pretty blessed this year so far, and I can't complain selfishly.
So I won't press you on it because it doesn't sound like you've got an answer and you don't need to have an answer right now. So I'll phrase it a different way than I was going to. Has the thought entered your mind about whether you will? Have you spent much time thinking about it? How about that? About whether you will or won't come back next year? Not searching for an answer at this point, but have you put much thought into it yet at all?
Yeah, I mean, it crosses my mind a lot. I mean, there's obviously people pulling me in both directions. I mean, I think a lot of coaches are. I mean, they want me to stay. I mean, obviously they want to put a good, get a lot of guys back who understand the playbook and whatnot on the field. And that's rightfully so. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff, pulling the other direction. And there's people telling me that there's a chance I can make a team next year. So I mean, there's a lot of pros and cons to both. There's a lot of things I want to get right at this university because this place means a lot to me. But at this time, I haven't necessarily thought about it. I mean, if I had to put a percentage, it's probably 50-50. I mean, at this point, like there's a lot of stuff that can happen these last 4 games too. I mean, there's a lot of stuff like draft grade wise that could either improve. I mean, there's a possibility it could decrease too. So there's a lot still to happen, but at this point, it's probably 50-50.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you joining me, and good luck the rest of the season.
Hey, thanks for having me on. Thank you.
All right, until next time, Husker Nation, go big red, and always remember, throw the bones.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.